Hey everybody, welcome to season 5 of What's IGN Crushing On. I'm Caryn Solomon and I'm your host, and we're here to talk about what's hot in pop culture. Today's episode is brought to you by Syntech. Syntech is a technology company that sources and distributes industry-leading products and brands from around the world. Welcome to episode 2 of season 5. We're joined once again by co-host and producer Leanne, and then we are also joined by our guest this week, also known as Misa Narrates. Is it Misa?
Misa Narrates, yes.
Misa. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
First time right. So Misa, tell the audience more about you.
So to disclose, I need to preface this before I do any South African media. I am South African American, so that's where the accent comes from. And I am a digital content creator and storyteller. I wrote my way into notoriety, in my opinion, and that's how I'm going to keep going. I'm the current editor-in-chief of On Scene magazine, managing director of Mina Media, and just an all-round media girly, you know, with a lot to say and a degree to back up half the shit I do say.
Nice.
I love that. Tell him. So welcome to the show. We are so glad to have you. And we just want you to start, like, this week is actually a little bit sad for some of us oldies because Olivia Newton-John, who was the biggest selling musician of the 70s and also the star of Grease and Xanadu, passed away this Monday. Yeah.
I heard. I'm really sorry for the loss of the community. I have to smile because I don't recognize this woman. I don't know who she is. I have seen her before.
I'm so sorry. I do not know her gift.
I don't know this woman. I've heard of Xanadu. I've heard of Grease. I'm just not there yet in terms of my discovery into film. Okay, I'll get there.
Xanadu is not a good movie.
I'll get there.
Don't ever go there. But Grease is do you watch musicals though?
That's the thing.
Okay.
I was a dance and theater kid.
I was
in the musical. So I wasn't, TV was not a thing for me growing up. I had 2.5, maybe 3 hours of TV time per week.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was strict about it. She's like, if you're going to be, shaking something in sequence, you gonna earn it. And I had to be on honor roll and all of that jazz. So it just wasn't going to work in terms of how much time I can spend on television or film, for that matter.
But you've come a long way since then. So never the desire to check it out?
I've been busy. I have been busy. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I'm kidding.
She did not come here for questions.
Listen, I'm frustrated because with film, there's so many new films coming out at an unprecedented rate that even when you say, I want to go and revisit or look at films from certain periods, have you noticed that the streaming sites also just don't provide them?
Yeah.
They will shove a teen romance, met my first boy, kissed him, and then it spread all over school. Shout out Netflix. They will push that film 3, 4, 5 times in 2 different languages. And I'm not finding the classics. Who has What's Love got to do with it? It's my annual watch. I have to watch it every year. It's character development. Yes.
But it's I think with all the streaming service and there's still not being stuff available, it's just it makes things difficult. You know where you got to bring back the video store. Bring back Mr. Video. If I want to watch something, I want to go get it.
Come on, babes.
Right? And even if you don't go get it, it's such a missed opportunity. So you mean to tell me that all the music stores, in the US, so there was Best Buy, y'all didn't figure out to have shared space to create that community inside the store? We all have that experience of, especially music lovers, going to a market and finding vinyls.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody doing that with DVDs. Where is the DVD player? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is that in your house? I think mine is gathering dust in the attic, but I need for like watching film and old film specifically to not have to be me leaving my house to go to like oldies night, wherever. No.
And it's also like, because of all like the rights thing, even if you rent something on like Google Play or what's the Apple one, Apple TV or whatever, they don't have all the film. So even if you subscribe to Apple Play or to Apple Play, Google Play, or to Apple TV, and you rent movies, they still don't have access to all the movies because of like copyright and that sort of stuff, which means you have to subscribe to a whole lot of streaming services. And you can rent movies, but you still won't be able to watch what you want to. But
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. At some point, they've made enough money, and you must just go fetch that film from wherever you can fetch it. Because also, why are you being difficult? Hi, boo.
Listen, no. I will say this. I agree with you. There are certain things that you cannot find anywhere, especially in SA. I think we just find ourselves in such a weird. We're like the Bermuda Triangle of content because it's not owned, like we only have a certain amount of streaming platforms. And if it's not owned by them, it's probably owned by MultiChoice or whatever. And there's like certain things where we just aren't able. So I know my husband loves Doctor Who. And he was so excited when we found out BritBox was coming because he was like, finally, I can legally watch Doctor Who. And then BritBox doesn't even have Doctor Who. And he was like, it's literally the channel that this was made for. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you live in South Africa, there's no legal way to watch that show. Like, what must you do?
I need for the world to get over geographical barriers to information. So the fuck what if I'm in South Africa? I see that P Valley is the show of shows. Why can't I watch it? And I feel like it's very few filmmakers and TV makers who've hopped onto that and who have also the industry might to kind of get rid of that idea that like we only show this in this region during this time. And especially because we're a country of soaps, right? So I do believe that we need to cut back on soaps and, start developing, like once a week shows that have a season and stuff like that. I firmly do believe in that. But at the same time, like if J.K. Rowling towards that if J.K. Rowling towards that last few movies could say, okay, this must go out everywhere at the same time. If Apple Music and all of the DSPs have figured out, okay, this music is going to be available at the same time everywhere. If the people who did Game of Thrones have managed to facilitate that type of relationship, I don't understand why South Africa just seems to be, like you said, the Bermuda Triangle of content. Like, Betunana, we too are on the same Mark Zuckerberg's internet and Jack Dorsey's internet and Beyonce's internet.
Exactly.
Can we see something?
So on that point, like talking about Spotify and Apple Music, you cover a lot of music content. I know you cover all entertainment, but on Scene Mag. But I want to know, like, what new music are you into right now?
Beyonce.
Beyonce. Is there any other answer right now in the world?
I'm telling you guys, this morning I wake up. I have this I have a ritual where like I think about what am I going to start listening to in the day. Every song has a time of day that it can work in. I cannot listen to Break My Soul or to like Beyonce's Renaissance at night. Otherwise, I'm gonna go want to shake my ass somewhere. So I try to listen to like the slower stuff, the calmer stuff, my dark pop girls, Lana, Billie. You know what I'm saying? This morning I woke up and I thought to myself, I can choose something else other than Renaissance. I swear for God. I was scrolling. I was just like, my finger wanted to type Renaissance Beyonce, Renaissance Beyonce. I'm sorry. That is, she's set the tone for the cultural zeitgeist. Please. And I've got the English to back it up, Betunana.
So other than Beyonce.
Self-hatred.
I was just like, I was I was also listening to Beyonce, and today, as I was preparing for my class, and I, well, I mean, I was like, I kept on getting distracted by the songs, so then I had to change it over to like, those like movie soundtracks. That's like the go to when you need to concentrate. Movie soundtracks, and I was like, I have to start listening to this, else I'm never gonna concentrate. But the thing about I think somebody said this on Twitter, but I actually like 100% believe this. The thing about Renaissance is that you can't just listen to one song, because when Spotify makes you those like those your playlist for the day, or like
Daily
playlist 1 or
mixes.
playlist 2, yeah, daily mixes. That's right. So m- my my daily mix 1 had about like 3 Renaissance songs on it. And then I listened to one, and then there was like some other artist, listened to another one, and then I was like, nah, I gotta listen to this album again because it's like I'm missing pieces. So it's like whatever somebody said on Twitter, where they were like, you can't just listen to one song.
Yeah.
I had to go back and listen to the whole album again, because it gives off that kind of vibe. Like I wasn't fulfilled by just listening to those 2 songs.
You also, with music consumption, in my opinion, I need us to bring back listening to one album in totality. And we
Mm.
lost that with digital. So when we went from the vinyl to the CD, and obviously, like around the time of the CD, there was also the cassette. I think the cassette came first. We lost that attention to detail when it comes to curating a body of work. And funny enough, Beyonce, my queen, said this when she was releasing. I think it was her documentary with HBO, but we're not seeing that detail anymore, and people are just so comfortable skipping through and what. And granted, in their defense, if you give someone a reason to skip, they will skip. But I find that even when you should not be skipping, like, it doesn't make sense to me that there's a sleeper hit. What do you mean? Why were you sleeping? Why were you sleeping when the hit was it's on the track list, it's there. Track number, ban ban. What happened? And worse, like, you can even repeat. You can even go back. Back in the days of the vinyl, you had to pick up the little nozzle, whatever. Make sure you put the needle down in the right place so you don't scratch your mother's favorite vinyl. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the way that we're consuming is just ridiculous and doesn't allow for the idea of even making an album a full-length LP to thrive, which is why we're seeing so many more EPs that have album quality production as well.
And it's like, I miss the days when you'd listen to an album and there'd be like little like ad libs or little songs in between, like Destiny's Child Survivor album. There's so many little like, you wait to the end and then you like say the parts with them and you sing the little like add-ons and the ad, and it's like, it's almost felt like a secret, like between like, fans, because you would know those kind of things, and people that are just, listen to a single or listen on the radio wouldn't necessarily know that versions of the song. So I like, I noticed that with like Lemonade too. Like she had the little ad libs, like obviously, and the poetry and stuff in between. So like
She
it,
said,
it
I
does
swallowed
give
a
you like a
sword. Oh, my
mm,
love. She said, I swallowed a sword. I wore white. I was led. I was led through the valley of the shadows of whatever that Bible verse goes. I was in my feels. I understood her immensely. I have referenced
mm,
that particular bit in so many different relationships. Actually, if I'm remembering this properly, I think I just wrote a piece for someone. Ah, it hasn't been published yet. I'm still trying to find a publisher. But essentially
mm.
saying that, like, there was a time in my romantic life where I would whip my own back and kneel before my lover, in self-flagellation, and that was love to me. And Renaissance has kind of like completely shifted that slightly. Now I want justice. There is no self-flagellation in romance anymore.
Oh,
That's so
this
good.
was like so much deeper than than I thought we were gonna go with. Like, I know you released your guide thing for PR for local musicians. So, like in your expert opinion, which local musician should we be looking out for? Like, these guys are doing amazing work. Um,
There are so many, and I am just so pleased because a lot of them, like, I treat them like my babies. Even though, like, they're not, some of them are not signed to me, some of them I never, represent or don't represent, but, like, whatever. One is definitely Michael Naris. He's just got, like, a really amazing way with words. My only critique, I think, is that I would like for him to broaden his production team a little bit more, because he's definitely one of those do-it-yourselfers, but the problem is he's good at it. Too often he's good at it, but then when you're, like, really good at something, you're not inclined to change certain things, or you're a little slower to the uptake. So, like, seeing him get into studio with, like, other producers and let other people really just, like, take the lead on some of his production would be great. Seeing him work with other songwriters as well, because you can only write from your perspective, or if you're talented enough, write from a perspective that you've observed very well. Another one is Nanette. Nanette has the voice of an angel, let me tell you. Ugh, disgusting. She's amazing. She's got an amazing pen on her as well. I like the girls and the guys and the girls and the theys that can write. That when I read the lyrics, it's either telling me a story or it's like a poem, literally. It's that. Someone else that I'm just really, really enjoying, but new, right? So they have to be a bit new. Let me cap it at Nanette and Michael. I have this rule every time I've done MTV, I never give a who's got next, because I feel like people don't do very well with when they get that type of accolade. So, like, let me see something first. Let me celebrate what you have done. And right now, Michael and Nanette for me are really, the babies. Also, Imani, Alex-based musician, but he oscillates between Alexandra and Cape Town. But he's got also another one of those things of, like, you have to work with other people. I think that's the big thing that I'm seeing, is that because if they're making such strong debuts, working with very few people, it means that they're not getting as much out of the creative community that they could be in. So that's just something that, like, I wish that they'd consider when they do their next set of EPs. You can't call her up and coming because she's definitely arrived, but Joda Khossi is one of them. I get so many submissions. I'm kind of forgetting, but, like, Joda's definitely one of them. They all get, so I have a to be playlist. So anytime I hear something new that I like, it goes in the to be playlist and to be playlisted. And so that's kind of how I'm keeping track with the new babies.
Cute.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to answer this, but, like, how easy is it to get access to different production teams when you're starting out? Like, I mean, because you say you'd like to see them collaborate, but, like, how easy is that? Because even just as someone who's not very well versed in South African music, but who listens to the radio and whatever, it always seems like it's the same names cropping up. So, like, how broad is the industry here?
Radio is not a good example of what community looks like. And that's because from an infrastructure perspective, radio, broadcast media, and big money. And when I say big money, I mean budget money. I'm talking about your labels. I'm talking about whether or not they're international labels or local labels, big money. And broadcast media, they've got too close a relationship, in my opinion. And it is a mutually beneficial relationship. And I'm not suggesting that all of it is pay or pay to play, or that any of it is really. But because at the end of the day, broadcast is going to go after the biggest fish. There can be but so many big fish. You know what I'm saying? So those are the songs that you're seeing in that top 10, rotation. But in terms of working together, I always say this. You are coming out in 2022. There's someone else who came out in 2021 who is technically your peer. Why are you insistent on working with a guy that's been in industry for 5+ years, whom you have no relationship with, whom you don't share mutual friends with? Like, why is that your goal? And something else that I've noticed in the South African music industry is that, unlike in the US, where people especially when they get picked up early, that artist development first 3 years stage is really important, because during that time, especially if you have someone guiding you or you have like some type of professional working on your brand and on your development, they're not going to allow you to say, I don't know them, I'm not going to work with them at all. You're getting into the studio with whoever's in the studio. Someone, and I think that's why a lot of artists back in like the 90s and the 2000s lost a lot of their rights, is because someone else paid for that session. So anything derived from that session is owned by whoever paid the bill for the studio, right? So then that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And I guess that's why maybe people are just a little bit tense. But Nami, I forgot to mention Nami. Nami is amazing. He's more a producer than a vocalist, but he does do some vocals on some of his work. But him and like this like group in Pretoria, him, Naya Ayla, Tom Cezanne, essentially all the people that I started my blog with back in 2016, who started working, and then started like really paying attention to their craft, I would say, during lockdown. They hosted this like random work, like writing camp, and they just hung out, and because they all know each other, they're all going to the same parties. You know, they hosted this writers camp, and it was via Instagram. Hey, pull up if you want to, you know, let me know if you want to pull up. And people pulled up, and they made a song, and they were testing out new skills and things of that nature. So really, in my opinion, accessing the big dogs, definitely slightly difficult. Granted, if you are a strategic party goer like myself, it's really easy to access these people. But I think the big thing is always work with your community, cultivate a personal community, because it's the people that you're going to have at your birthday party, at your like birthday dinner. If you're not letting these folks into your home to celebrate your milestones, you're most likely, or if you would never consider doing that, you're most likely not going to work with them anytime soon. You need to be willing to like cross-pollinate your audiences, if we want to take it into a marketing technical terminology space.
So I just wanted to ask, so Rolling Stone released their list of like 200 best dance tracks of all time. And I mean, it's got a lot of interesting stuff. Like number one is Donna Summer's "I Feel Love," which I think is a brilliant song. I don't know about you guys, but I think like that is like a excellent dance number. But what would you guys consider to be your number one dance song, like of all time, like the one song that'll like consistently get you on the floor?
I mean, I'm going
That's
to
tough.
show my roots here. It's gotta be Robin S. Show Me Love. Like
also how it's been used over the years.
I started at the club in Cape Town called Galaxy, and Thursday
It's
Ladies
number 9 on
Night.
this list of stuff.
I know, like it's a banger. So it's definitely one of those songs because you can sing along to it. It's like got that story and that emotion and that deepness, but then you can just shake your booty and it's a vibe. Doesn't matter what's going on. If that song comes on, you gotta bop. So
Yeah.
I think that would be my vote.
I think definitely Show Me Love is one of them. Madonna's Vogue is another one. There are so many because like I said, I listen to music in such a way that I don't like look at the track listing, so I seldom know who made the song. But I definitely will just kind of press play and go on with it. During lockdown, I'm exposing myself here a little bit, but I used to go to this club. I won't disclose the name of the club during lockdown, and they used to lock us in until like 6 a.m, and then we'd all leave. And let me tell you, dance music is the music to just release to, like, no stress, no worries, just go in discourse, discourse, not disco, not discourse. Like amazing stuff. But definitely Show Me Love and Madonna's Vogue. Those are up there for me.
I was trying to think of
wait,
mine,
and I forgot
like,
Lil Jon's Turned Down for What?
Yeah.
Because guys, you could not escape that song. 5 to 9 and Living for the Shots. Turned down for what? Turned down for what, Vele? For what?
I heard this song in a TV show recently, and I was like, "This song still slaps!" Like, you know, it was just like
Yeah.
at the perfect moment when that
Stands the
song
test of
played.
time.
It does.
But,
It does not need a time, and you also know what you were experiencing. You know that you were doing naughty things. You know that you were doing the most,
But
and
this
you're
is
not
the thing,
ashamed.
right? Like I think everyone's favorite dance track has to be a throwback to when you were in a place you weren't supposed to be. Like,
yeah, I mean,
do you
like,
know what I mean? Like
I'm trying to think
instant
of a
time
Yeah,
decent
travel.
song,
yeah.
but I'm like, I'm struggling. Like, you guys, I'm like, what is this? And there has to be a song that came out like post like 2010 or something that I like. But for me, it's like the Braxtons, obviously, the boss. For me, like, that, and the like the one remix of "Tease Me" from
Yes,
what's the Michael
3T.
Jackson's nephews.
3T.
Yeah, 3T.
I know.
Yeah, that
That's your
one,
jam.
the Todd Terry remix. And this is and then my Madonna song is actually "She's Not Me" from Confessions on the Dance Floor. Like, I love that song.
See,
Hmm.
I liked incorrect Madonna. Like I fucked up Madonna. Papa don't preach Madonna. Okay?
Yeah.
That was like the ultimate don't get pregnant song for me. Like everyone was like, "Oh, 16 and pregnant, like I'm seeing all of them live terrible lives." I'm like, "Did you hear Madonna?" Please don't talk to me about I waited for 16 and pregnant to show me the perils of young motherhood. That Papa Don't Preach, I used to play that all the time, and my dad, I think, at some point just looked at me like real hard, like, "I'm glad you see the message,
Why you
but
like
are
this
you
song?
okay? Are you okay? Is everything? Did should did you have the talk with her, Onika? No? Okay. Well, Misa, the birds and the bees. And that was like how they were like, okay, do you know how she got into this trouble?
Okay, Misa, we have to ask you. This is the question we ask everyone. But who was your first celebrity crush?
I think I had like two or three. And the
Mm.
first was this guy named Brian Culbertson. He's a musician. As I've
Oh,
gotten older, I've realized that he's not as beautiful as I thought he was in the face. And let me explain why. Because we were at a concert at a festival, and he was playing like multiple instruments. And back then I used to play the trombone. And I just thought, he's just so amazing. Like, he's so brilliant at
mm.
his job. I like seeing a man do his job. And he was doing it well.
Mm.
And I told my whole family, I was like, "That's my husband right there. Don't say nothing. That's my husband." And everyone just looked at me like, "Misa, this is a white man, first of all. And he's our age mate. So make it make sense." So that was like the one that just really did not make a whole lot of sense. But then after that, it had to have been like, I don't know, like I think it was like Zac Efron. I had an art
Mm.
class where we had to do portraits, and I drew this like portrait size
Oh
thing of it, and it was
wow.
very true to form. If I do say so myself, it was an art project. Okay, I'm an artist. I
Do you
had
still
no
have it?
choice. It's somewhere in storage, but I probably do. I know my mom took a picture of it. I can definitely find a digital version of it, but like, yeah, no, I definitely drew Zac Efron, and I even like his new face after like all that he's kind of done to it. It's a
Whatever's
great face. I
it's
love it.
beautiful. Yeah.
It's definitely filler. It's definitely filler, and he's filling it well. I
That is
have.
love. That is love. Willing.
Listen, I love it.
Every
If he
version.
likes
I
it,
love
I love
every
it.
version of your face.
That's where we
So
are.
now, we're gonna do like the crashing on segment where we talk about like something that we've enjoyed in recent pop culture, book, movie, whatever, TV show, music that you want to recommend to the listeners. So,
Oh,
Missy, do you
hey.
want to go first?
Let me let Leanne go first. I'm actually quite curious.
Okay.
Ooh, pressure. Okay, so I watched two really good movies over the weekend. The one was, I say weekend, it was the public holiday day. Screwed my brain. The
That's
first
fine. We're not
one
gonna judge
was
you.
Wedding Season, Netflix. All my brown people.
Mm.
It was so good. Just cheesy rom-commy goodness, but like representation, things that made sense, the tropes of overbearing parents and hate to love or scheming for the sake of scheming that turns to real love. Also, that dude, it was so funny because I, for some reason, started How I Met Your Father and then watched Wedding Season, and I was like, is that the same? Is that the same guy? So that was a cool moment because it was just like, oh, there's like a completely new person I've discovered. And then the second movie is Not Okay. Guys,
Oh.
that movie's so good. I didn't really know what to expect, but it's really good.
Because the title doesn't give anything away.
It doesn't give it. Okay, so
I just know, is that the blonde Dylan O'Brien? That's all I know.
Skeezy Dylan O'Brien. It's so bad, but still Dylan O'Brien. Yeah. It's okay. My husband knows that Styles is my boy, so it's fine. It's basically this girl who's like desperate to be noticed, popular, famous in a digital world, and so she pretends to be traveling, and while she's traveling, pretending to be traveling, the country she's supposedly in gets hit by a terror attack, and then she becomes the face of trauma for this terror attack. And it's the fallout of that.
Okay.
So it's not like the lightest. It's not the lightest piece. I mean, we're here for balance. So if you want something light and fluffy, watch Wedding Season. If you want a little bit of social commentary, a little bit of like satire, a little bit of all of that, then Not Okay. It was really, really good.
Okay. Wow. I love it. If you like it, I love it. That's my motto in life. If you like it, I love it. And I might just love it for you, but it's fine.
I mean, I would be keen to hear your take on it if you ever venture down there on your movie journey. I feel like first though you have to watch Grease. Yeah, but
shut up. I am working on it. Okay, it's on my list of to-dos. I need to watch Daughters of the Soil. Okay, I have like a list of old Black cinema that I'm trying to get through, and like that's like my priority. But of late, I have this like filet mignon passion for films made between 1995, actually 1990, and 2005. There's a certain grain on all of it. It's just it's not sharp, it's not HD, it's a little fuzzy. It's also sometimes like very socially shocking because of what was norm and standard back then in comparison to now. Like, I watch The Pelican Brief at least once every 3 months because I'm also a firm believer in like a favorite person of someone's race, especially problematic races in general. So like, for instance, with white women, you've got to be careful. You can't like them too much. They might say something and then you've got to rethink.
Everything.
A musician,
yeah.
Like, especially a male musician, like you might really love them and then they open their mouth. So like one of my favorite white women is
Julia Roberts.
Hell, I mean, her name. So, yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker and Julia Roberts, favorite women. And then there's like a new one, and she's in like The Choice and this series called A Discovery of Witches. I love her.
Teresa Palmer.
I know nothing about her.
Fake Case Stew.
And don't tell me. Okay, I'm fine with it.
She's amazing.
Fine with it. It brings joy to my heart.
She's fake Kristen Stewart because like when you see her, you don't immediately just like
they do not look alike.
Teresa Palmer. Do you know if you like her, you should watch Warm Bodies.
So that's on my list as well. So I just did a Discovery of Witches, and I did the 2016 film The Choice. Great. She just does what she does so well, and I know nothing about her, and I really want to keep it that way.
Nice.
Because like, God forbid I watch something and then realize that I've idolized this person whom I shouldn't. Like, the whole conversation around parasocial relationships, I'm enjoying parasocial relationships of late, and I like calling them that as well. So whenever I see a cute guy on TikTok, I'm just like, this is a parasocial relationship. There's nothing that this man can do if I just stay in this lane of content that will upset me. And another guy that I'm having, like, it's all the funny guys on TikTok, all the funny guys. Number one being Primo. I don't know if you guys know Primo 19. He's hilarious. And any man who can have me smiling at the phone like this, I'm sorry, I love you. You can have a girlfriend, you can have a partner, that is your business. You can be gay, that is your business. But I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm supporting you, and I'm crushing on you hard.
Cute.
I love that. I don't even know how to top that. I can't. So I'm just gonna give you some lame suggestions. But I watched a card counter on Showmax this weekend. With Oscar Isaac, obviously. Obviously, Oscar Isaac.
Do you catch yourself smiling?
He has a very hot scene with like Tiffany Haddish in that movie.
Oh.
I was like, what is happening? And like, I love her in that movie too.
I don't trust Tiffany. Yeah. Tiffany makes me smile too hard, and every time she does something, I'm just like waiting for her to make a ha-ha.
Like she's not like like she's like funny in the movie, but she's very toned down. So she's like, but like funny within context.
Yeah.
So it's like, she's like she'll make like a joke because she's like a friendly person, and like she has like, but like, and they, I don't know. I thought they had quite a good like dynamic between the two of them.
Good.
And that was her first ever like sex scene, ever, like love scene.
Oh, it was like a
Tiffany Haddish was doing the sex.
Well, it's no spoiler, but like imagine your first love scene is with Oscar Isaac. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah,
you were like, I'm just going to give you some lame suggestion, and then you said there's a sex scene with Oscar Isaac, and now everyone's running. Forget what we said.
It's not like a nude scene or anything.
Let me go see something.
It's quite young. But anyway, the point of the movie is like this it's like this military guy, and he was in jail, and then he becomes like a gambler, but like then I don't know, he gets involved with this like like this boy who he wants to like help, like this young boy who reminds him of a younger version of himself, and then like he becomes like, I don't know, like he wants to start gambling so that he can help this child. I know it's a very convoluted story, but basically it's about he plays a gambler with like a lot of issues, and yeah, he has a love scene with Tiffany Haddish, and yeah, I was actually glad for their casting, because I was like, I would never have done it, but now that it's done, I'm like,
I like it. I like it a lot now that you've said it, and I haven't even watched the thing. Have you guys watched that Netflix film where the girl and the guy get married, and he's in the military, and she's a singer, and
that Purple Hearts thing?
Right there.
I don't like military
I watched
stuff.
it. See, the thing is, I love military stuff because it confirms everything that I know and studied about guys in the military. Like, I just have a rule of thumb. I do not date soldiers. Do not date men of the cloth. Yeah, do not date soldiers. Do not date men of the cloth. Do not date politicians or their children. Like, it's the fastest way to get a bullet in your head, in my opinion. So, and I know that's morbid, but that's the truth, and that's my truth. So when I watched it, I was like, this is why I don't date soldiers. It was very cute, though. I was definitely living my Wattpad fantasy. Yeah. You should watch it just once, just to realize that it could be worse. You could be falling in love with a soldier that has opposing political views than you. You could hate your husband.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Misa, for joining us on the podcast. This was a joy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I needed this laugh today.
Thank you once again. So today's episode is brought to you by Syntec. Syntec is a technology company that sources and distributes industry-leading products and brands from around the world. Me, you can find at Caryn Welby on Instagram, at Caryn Welbys with an S on Twitter, and sign up for my newsletter Wildest Dreams at wildestdreams.substack.com. The podcast can be found at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find us at What's IGN Crushing On YouTube, and you can find more information about this and all our other episodes on our website, crushingonpodcast.com. Send any feedback to mail@crushingonpodcast.com, and you can send us voice notes at +27 78 362 2566. Join our Facebook group, Crushing On Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. The show is produced by me, Caryn, as well as Rebecca Barches and Leanne Phillipson. The show is edited by Rebecca Barches. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof, and the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can, any way that you can. Keep up to date with episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others to find the show. We'll be back next week with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then.